Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of expos. Dan Chemist, our CBD correspondent with Good CBD Products, has been to a couple expos recently, the U.S. Hemp conference, and then a more normal agricultural conference. And so wanted to get his take on the ground. He spoke with the senator in Oregon about, the law that they passed for exporting across state lines, as well as the House bill to do the same thing. So Dan, welcome back on the show. Tell us about how these hemp conferences went.
It's good to be back on the Talking Hedge, Chronic, as your roving CBD reporter. I've been roving, brother. So you missed one. I did Hemp Fest, the U.S. Hemp Expo, and then Farwest successively. So from last week, basically Hemp Fest last week, big show, protestable, lots of classic head shop like booths, right? So people selling pipes, people selling hats, stuff like that. Left that, went to the U.S. Hemp show down in Portland, Oregon. Pretty intense experience. Yep, got a chance to talk to Senator Wyden, got a chance to talk with Sonny Summers, some of the other people involved in helping Oregon lead with regards to hemp farming and essentially innovations in the hemp space. And then had a chance to go over to Farwest the last couple days, which is essentially a nursery business and ag business show, and create some compare and contrast. And I got to say, it has been really interesting. A couple of things worth noting. So the U.S. Hemp Show, okay, U.S. Hemp Expos, I think on Instagram, neat crew. They do a series of regional shows that are all about the business of hemp. One of the things that happened at the U.S. Hemp Show was the Talking Hedge was popular, and then I got a chance to essentially leverage that popularity all the way into getting a chance to literally do an interview with a senator, right? Somebody who's been instrumental in passing the farm bill. And we got a chance also to integrate and network with some of the high-level professionals that really are setting trends in the hemp space. So as an example, just a couple of noteworthy things. One, at the U.S. Hemp Show, just some numbers that were exposed. In 2015, there were around 100 hemp farms in Oregon. There's now around 1,800 registered hemp farms, okay? So that growth, that exponential growth, there's over 62,000 acres in cultivation right now in hemp in Oregon alone, okay? And then that exponential growth, because so often what we hear about is essentially, businesses in the downturn, to see that kind of growth and that kind of chart, my gosh, right? And something that this is where Senator Wyden had a lot of pride with regards to just that and what it means for Oregon, right? And then some of the movers and shakers that I ran across there at the show, I ran across a principal for a company that essentially does reclamation now, where they take tree remnant and they make jet fuel, okay? And they were there looking at, hemp remnant for making jet fuel, right? And, some things like that where you're just like, I'll be danged, the big players are coming in. Oh my gosh.
That is big. What was the difference in scope and size of each show? Like the more normal show compared to the hemp show?
Yeah, it's interesting. First, just in compare and contrast, so there were 51 booths at the U.S. Hemp Show. There's over 400 booths, I think closer to 500 at the nursery show, okay, at Farwest. So 10x, right? 10x. And then when I went to Farwest over the last couple of days, I've basically been sounding, trying to get a sense of what's happening with hemp and cannabis cultivation in the nursery space. And it's like the waves just starting to reach the unit, right? I ran into several different crew that are prescient. They are future thinkers. They're ahead of the curve. I ran into several different equipment manufacturers who do proudly proclaim, oh yeah, we do cannabis too. But at the U.S. Hemp Show, 51 booths, pretty much all focused at hemp. At the Farwest show, 400 to 500 booths, and from what I could find, 3 that were focused at hemp. So again, quite a comparison. And, this is the thing, the few that I did find that were focused at hemp cultivation are doing some very interesting things that really amount to just adding hemp to their already successful nursery business. So again,
did you see any
to the
of
people,
the companies that were doing smokable hemp? Because I just saw another ban in North Carolina that he just submitted a bill banning smokable hemp. So North Carolina Farm Bill containing smokable hemp ban is okayed by the House, 63 to 48 yesterday.
So I didn't see any on either floor. I have been out networking, talking to some who are white labeling at that level, but that's a whole separate issue, right? So.
And so from professionalism standpoint, did you think that the hemp show was any different? I mean, obviously in scope, it was a lot smaller, but innovation, was it any different? Or
yeah, what was interesting about the hemp show was more the weight, if you will, of the influencers. There were some heavyweight influencers at the hemp show that, again, because of who we speak to and what we do, I was granted access to those particular folks, and we had some, we got some really interesting interview stuff that I'll be exposing. At the Farwest, at the Ag Show, again, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of curiosity, but there's not a lot of early action. These are people who are literally watching the market. I sat, for instance, with the owner of a significant nursery who said, yeah, I'm getting in. Next year, I'm going to be a significant player. I'm going to let the pendulum swing for a full 12 months. And then we're probably going to get in unless the pendulum does something wacky, right? So again, a lot of pragmatism that goes with successful businesses. The other thing I always look for is essentially the wistful dreamer. And I saw some of those. Yeah, we're going to save the farm. We're going to get into hemp. But again, it doesn't really work that way. So, I did what I could to forewarn.
And how many suits did you see? Was there capital running around? Was there a buzz that we've seen and felt at other shows?
What was interesting about the U.S. Hemp Show was the depth of knowledge of the general attendee, and then what I would call high-level working professionals. So, for instance, principals, right? Ownership, those, that grade of folk. Certainly, there were some general hands, but for the most part, a very select audience. And then, over at the Farwest show, what's interesting is it's of such a scale where you really do see quite a cross section. All said, what's interesting is just how much infrastructure there is in the nursery business to support a show, a yearly show that's got 500 booths, right? That's and this is just one trade show. So again, I was really intrigued by the in-place networks that, again, I think hemp's going to touch, just not today.
Did you see anything at the traditional show that you thought the hemp and cannabis space should use? I mean, at 500 booths, there had to be something that was unique, new, niche, or something that was like, oh yeah, that could definitely work.
Well, now that's funny because I really did. I made the same assumptive, kind of supposition, right? Geez, a lot of booths. There's going to be something here that I'm really going to, and I went with a fine tooth, my brother. I went deep. And I finally, they actually have a new products showcase, and I went over to the new products showcase, and what I can tell you is this: I didn't find any technology that was groundbreaking. Okay, I saw a lot of essentially new nutrient forms, right? Geez, this will now make your plant grow faster, better, or whatever. I'm not of a grade to actually measure whether or not that's effective marketing or not. But I didn't see any technology that made me say to myself, dang, that is needed in the cannabis space. And so that was just interesting to me as well, in that I had kind of hoped, right? But I didn't find anything exposed over there. I looked hard.
So were both of them worth going back to?
Oh, definitively. This is the thing, is what the recurrent sounding from doing all of this is do more of this. So, for instance, we got a chance at the U.S. Hemp Show. We got 3 A-line influencers in the hemp cannabis space, and we got personal time with them. Okay, that's triggered some other opportunities that are of similar scale, right? Where politicians, Fortune 500s, et cetera, reaching out. So again, I guess one of the lessons in all of this is be in the field, right?
So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.